Welcome back to Metropole Business Center. And just like I promised right before we took a break, today we're having conversations with Eric Wokabi. And Eric is an automotive consultant and content creator. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thank you so much, Ingrid.
Now, Eric, before people think I'm trying to force an accent or even trying to twang, can you just help me explain this whole conversations? What exactly does it mean and what do you do?
Conversations, to start with, is a conversation about cars.
Right.
So, Car-nversations, it's more of an acronym.
Very creative.
Yes.
So I know you have a YouTube channel, you're a content creator as well as an automotive consultant.
Yeah.
But to start by focusing on the conversations page, talk to me about the thought process that went into you deciding to take this route and what exactly is your content about?
So, my content is about cars and everything car related. The reason why I decided to do conversations was I've always loved cars since I was very young. So it's something that I love and something I look up to every day. The reason why we decided to go, we started with Facebook. Then after a while, I met my producer, my current producer, who told me, hey, why don't we do YouTube? The first several episodes of Conversations, the videos themselves, were for a hobby. We never thought Conversations would ever be that big. Yeah, so Conversations is passion driven. Up to date, it's still a hobby. It's not something that I feel is more of a job. It's something I am happy when I wake up. I'm always excited when we are doing a shoot. Yeah.
But it's making you money.
Yes. Yes.
Don't be shy, Eric.
Because what I can say is, but I believe we'll talk about that later.
Yes, absolutely.
If you look at it as, maybe my job has been, I used to have a day job with one of the motor dealers around until I woke up and said, hey, you know, I want to do something. That time I had my 8 to 5 job, then I had Conversations, and also I was trying to service motor vehicles because I've always had a thing for cars. So until it reached a point I said, hey, I want to do videos as a full-time job. I want to go into car sales as an individual, and also want to go into service and maintenance. So if you look at it, yes, it earns money on YouTube and as well as getting referrals through YouTube. Yeah.
Now, Eric, we're seeing, as you said it yourself, when you started to do this, it was purely out of hobby, out of passion. It was something you were interested in, which I feel then somehow gave you domain. You had domain knowledge on this. So you decided, let me just do it to pass time. Let's talk about cars. We're seeing a situation right now, particularly most recently, where we're seeing a lot of youth jump onto the YouTube bandwagon. And it may not necessarily be in line with things that they're passionate about, but we're seeing a lot of so much similar content. For example, you can come to Ingrid's YouTube channel, and I'm talking about, you know, oh, wake up with me. This is what my day looks like. You go to maybe my friend Stephanie's YouTube channel. Oh, wake up with me. Get through my day with me. And here you are. You've carved a niche. You've differentiated yourself. What has been your strategy? And especially now that everyone's jumping on it, what advice would you give in that front?
My advice would be, if you're jumping into YouTube, make sure you're doing something that you love. If you get to YouTube or into content creation with unrealistic expectations, you're going to be very, very frustrated. So number one, you need to love whatever you're doing. Number two, because in YouTube, it's not more of a strategy. You don't have, say, a strategy. It's your content that sells and how you do it, how consistent you are, and also how creative you are. So can what you want to do create a niche? You know, it's all about, like for my content, it's about cars. So if it's a niche you're creating, are you passionate about that particular thing? Because, and again, you can't be a jack of all trades. There must be a reason as to why I'm interested in how your day was. You know, if I was to post a video on how my day was with a particular car, you know, I'm not like shoveling it down people's throats that buy this car or this is how this car is. I'm just doing it creatively on how do I spend a day with, say, car X. So how does it drive? How do you stand out from the crowd? Things that the everyday Mwananchi looks at when they are buying a car. So you have to be creative.
So basically, just find your space. Yes. If you're going to talk about cars, talk about cars. If your channel is going to be about food, talk about food. Don't be that person who's all over the place. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Still in line with that, there's a general perception, and I believe this, which is why we're seeing a lot of youth jump onto it. When you watch a lot of content creators that are existing today, I mean, they'll be working with big brands that for the normal person you would think would be out of reach, right? So there's a certain glamorous aspect that comes with content creators, well, the successful ones. There's a perception that there's a lot of freebies in this space. I mean, I can travel to Mombasa, and if I have a following, I'll get free accommodation. Is that what actually it is on the ground? Is it just a life of you know, glamour, freebies? How does that work? And are there actually challenges?
There's always a challenge. And about freebies, if you get to content creation with that mentality, you're going to quit. It's going to knock you off. About freebies, mostly, if you have a following and I want to get free accommodation, also you have to have priorities. So is my priority freebies, or is my priority selling content, good content, and then quality content to my audience? Because I can be, there's no way I can just be going around, say, to company X and tell them, hey, you know what, I need a car for 1 week. It does sound, first of all, it sounds like you're some sort of parasite.
True.
Yes. So about freebies, I don't think that should be it. Don't have those expectations, and that is why you have to be passion-led. Because if you're not passion-led, you're not going to like it. There are so many challenges. Number one, production. Like you see, for us to talk about cars, we need to have quite a bundle of equipment, like for filming. So it's not something you go in, it's something that you have to think about. And also you look at strategic partnerships, because I had the content, but I didn't have the production know-how. So you have to have strategic partnerships, and that's how we decided. My producer and I sat down and I said, you know what, we are going through this all in. He has a side hustle, I have a side hustle. So you just come in and say we are going, whether it's profitable or not, whether it has money or not, we love cars, so let's go in. So it's not about what you get for free. It's not about the glamour. There are so many challenges. Sometimes you'll be very frustrated. Sometimes you'll have a video that will not do as well as you expected, and sometimes you're going to be very surprised. So if you're not passion centric, you're not doing it just from the heart, it's going to be very frustrating. Yeah.
And I like that you're being very honest about, like, you really have to be into this, you have to be passionate. It's something that you should be interested in. However, you've seen both sides of the spectrum, as someone who started off as a hobby and then you grew it into now an actual business. So for someone who's trying to look at it on the front of a business, fine, they've got, you know, the content that they're passionate about, and now they want to turn it into a business. Because we've seen a situation where YouTubers started like 10 years ago and they've still failed to monetize their trade. What advice would you give to someone who's going into it? Fine, I'm passionate about it, but I still want to make money. How do you go about that?
That needs a lot of patience, because to monetize on YouTube, you need to have 4,000 watch hours, you need to have over 1,000 subscribers, plus your content needs to be good quality and resonate with a particular market. Then there's a whole lot of science when it comes to YouTube, how you get ads, how they pay you. So if it all depends with who are watching you. Where, like now, if you have viewers from the US, from the UK, your ads are going to be paid better than primarily what the ads that are being placed maybe by Kenyan-based companies. Which, anyway, that's a bit intricate. I believe that's a topic for another day. But now if you look at it business-wise, you have to be very, very patient. Because for us, right now, there is business we actually reject. Because you will get partnerships, but the partnership really does not resonate with what you're feeding your audience. For instance, there are people who will tell you, okay, come, I need you to tell people to buy cars from us, but their cars are not maybe of very good quality, maybe they do not have a very good reputation. So you also have to be very careful about, it's not, you don't take all the money. No, you have to be also very wise, and that is why I said it needs a lot of patience. So if you're going into monetizing it, number one, YouTube, for the first few few maybe months, just forget about it. Let it be at the back of your mind. So that is why I keep on saying, if you don't love what you're doing, it might, and you're doing it for the money. So doing it for the money needs to come around third. It's third in the hierarchy of your priorities when you're going into content. Because when people started creating content on YouTube, it was not all about making money. It's just like TikTok. Not so many people are into making money on TikTok, but you do something on TikTok and you're like, okay, hey, these guys are following this, so you go more into that, and you have to let your audience shape the content that you're giving.
No, I'm sorry, but I need to stick a little bit on that aspect of money, and that has actually made sense. But I would just like to see now from your point of view, because I'm sure when you started off and it was a hobby, again, you are not thinking of making money. Yes. So maybe you are recording on your phone, you're just trying to put things out there. But with every business that someone is trying to get into, there's always that worry of initial startup capital. Yeah. And I know it varies from business to business, depending on what you're trying to do. But in that aspect, would you say it's one of those heavy investment businesses that you're going in if you're trying to start? What advice would you give on that front? Will someone really have to put their life savings into it to start? Or is this something that you can start slowly and gradually? And I don't know if you can put a figure on it, but just give us a guideline of when you're trying to start, what sort of cost goes into this?
It depends with, again, the kind of content that you want. For us, our content was, it really needed quite a lot of equipment, but assuming you're doing something content relating, say on recipes and that, you can record from your phone. These days, phones have good video quality. You only need to have, again, good voice quality. You can buy lapels and all that, you see. Cheap ones. You can also buy maybe a ring light for like 1,500 Kenya shillings. So it's not capital intensive per se. In fact, the greatest capital you need to start a YouTube channel is the content that you're giving. As long as the content is quality. We have seen guys like a few YouTubers out there who film from their phone, and right now they are maybe over 50K. Yeah, so the greatest capital here is, again, is your mindset. You can invest so much in production and forget quality. Yeah, so you will have very good videos, but they do not have quality content. So capital here starts with the mind. The first question should be, what do I have? I have a good phone, I have free internet, and these days there are apps you can edit videos on your own from your phone. So you don't have to start with 100,000 Kenya shillings. No, you can start with as low as bundles worth around 50 bob. Yeah. Right. Yes.
Now, I would like to go back to Car-nversations. Car-nversations, like you've said, it really talks about cars. You know, you do reviews, you give people information in that space. So for someone looking in from the outside, one would say your target audience would be car enthusiasts, who in most cases would be men. So my question is then, when you're doing content, what does the train of thought look like when it comes to the target audience? And do you feel then like maybe you locked out a certain target audience that could have also been beneficial to you? What would you say about that?
That's a perception. In fact, you will be surprised by our audiences. Funny thing, our content does not resonate to enthusiasts only, because if you are targeting enthusiasts only, we would be doing stuff like tuning cars, increasing horsepower. But now, Car-nversations is aimed at the ordinary mwananchi. Somebody who is looking, like now, if you're looking towards buying your first car, you can come to our channel and we'll tell you, we'll have content about what do I need to have. Or what factors do I need to consider when I'm buying my first car? So you'll find that our demographics right now, in terms of audiences, are, well, it's male dominated, but you'd be surprised if I told you that 60% are men, 40% are women.
Interesting. Yeah. So now, content creation, a lot of people actually don't. You know, I mean, we live in Africa, so we know the general perceptions. Even me, my field, it took so long for me to convince my parents that I want to work in journalism. They're like, but Ingrid, you're smart. Why can't you be a doctor? So content creation, a lot of people, again, look at it more like a hobby or something I'm trying to do on the side. And yet when you talk to someone like you, who's actually like been in it for a while and is now reaping from it, or maybe some other highly successful content creators, they'll tell you it takes everything out of you, possibly even more than a 9-to-5 job. My question is, can you juggle the two? If you decide to go into this as a business, is it possible to keep your regular 9-to-5 job that, pays you, and also as well content create? And will you actually do that successfully? What would be your advice on that front?
It is possible. And first of all, if I was to tell you what I studied in campus, you would laugh.
Tell me.
Yes, I did something called agribusiness.
What?
Yes, that's what I pursued. But funny thing, it wasn't in me. So I started getting into car deals when I was still in campus and all that. But funny thing, I got into my 8-to-5 job, again at a car dealer. But I went into business development there. I didn't study business development, but I got there through a course I did on Google. So that's the funny thing about it, and it earned me a job. So these days it's not about what the degree you get, but when it comes to the 8-to-5 job, yes, you can, and especially if your content is linked with your 8-to-5 job. My content was interlinked with my 8-to-5 job, and what my content did, it complemented my 8-to-5 job, because I would have an extra client who saw my video on YouTube and now wants to buy a certain car, or has a problem with the car and needs advice on getting the car fixed. Until now I decided, okay, let me do my business and get out of my 8-to-5 space, because it reaches a point, like I'll be up at 3 a.m. trying to respond to comments, trying to respond to emails. It's not as easy as people think. There's a lot of pressure when we are shooting as well. Sometimes it drains you completely. You get to film an episode, then at the end of the day you realize that something went wrong, we have to redo it again. You're filming a car and the supplier frustrates you at the maybe then you have to create time to shoot, because like for us our shots are time consuming. You can find a 6-minute video that took maybe almost half a day to perfect. Yeah, so you can put your 8-to-5 job together with the channel, only that you have to, the rule of the thumb is planning.
Yeah, and also just make sure there's somehow a link, so that it doesn't look like you're really stretching yourself.
Exactly.
Now, finally, before I even let you go, Eric, usually because I'm looking at yours as a business now, I feel like if you're making money out of it, you've proven yourself, you've moved again from hobby to now you're monetizing, you have partnerships, you have collaborations. And with almost with every business, the owner is usually trying to look to innovate, how to get better. What's the future of Car-nversations? What is Eric thinking next? What, as the people who watch you, me, the female that's in that 40% bracket that you've talked about, what should I look forward to? And today I saw you premiered a video this morning.
Yes.
So what are we looking forward to maybe in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, real quick as we wrap up?
Actually, it should be what would you be expecting before the end of the month?
Damn. Tell me.
Yeah. So we are launching a Car-nversations website. It's a review website where you can be able to compare a car you want to buy, get reviews directly. It's unlike the e-commerce sites that we have for cars. You can also be able to get consultancy through the site. It's not now all about buying, it's about buying certified vehicles. And also, sometimes you walk into a showroom not knowing what to get. A salesperson will sell you what they have. But for us, we'll sell you what suits your personality and what's best for you. So the website is coming up. Maybe we can invite you for the launch.
Please, can you do that?
Yes. Right. Then also we are looking into going into the garage space, full space. Like again, you can't be in media for life. Yeah, so a time will come when we'll have new faces in Car-nversations, because we want to take it completely mainstream. Then even me, I'll have to take a back seat and now run it as a proper business as well. So we are going into maintenance. We're also going into direct importation. Actually, we are already doing direct importation for guys. So Car-nversations is not only a YouTube channel. It's not only content. It goes into car sales, maintenance, and consultancy.
Thank you so much for coming here and making time to join us to have this conversation. I really appreciate you. You're doing amazing work. And what's most impressive is what you're doing is so different. Because if you look at the content creators, you'll find at least 2 who are doing the same thing. but you're really doing something different. I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to the launch of your website.
Thank you so much.
So that's where we wrap it up today on Metropole Business Center. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation by sending your feedback, questions, and queries to our social media handles at Metropole TV KE on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back with more amazing information and entertainment.